Welcome to Kim Talks Resilience, where we share stories of insight and inspiration in life, love, and business with resilient women from around the world. Speaking with authors, entrepreneurs, founders, and coaches to learn their strategies for a more resilient life so we can all build the life we love. I'm your host, Kim Hayden. Gloria Feldt is the co-founder and president of Take the Lead, a nonprofit organization whose mission is nothing less than intersectional gender parity in leadership across all sectors by 2025. Based on research for her book, No Excuses, 9 Ways Women Can Change How We Think About Power. She has Take the Lead, which is her organization, has proven comprehensive programs that are effective in moving the dial for women because they include training, coaching, mentoring, role model events, and thought leadership. Gloria's most recent book, Intentioning Sex, Power, Pandemics, and How Women Will Take the Lead for, and you know what? If you're listening, you can hear this, How Women Will Take the Lead for brackets, everyone's good, helps women to clarify how they will use their power and new course based on, and that book is based on the course is based on the book. And the book, I'm going to find out when it's launching. It says March 2023, which is an incredible timing because is this not International Women's Day month? Come on. We all need, every woman, we need a month. We need a month. Good morning, Gloria. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim, and thank you for that introduction. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm dying to find out more about this new book, but we're going to get there because the new book has sex in the title. And of course, anything that has sex in the title, you got to ask, what? So let's start with this. I want to turn it over to you for a few moments here. I want you to bring us all up to speed. Who is Gloria?
Oh, my goodness. So, Gloria is somebody who didn't start out to do what I've done in my life, like many of us. And one of the things that I always try to talk to younger women about is it doesn't matter where you start, just start. So I started as a teen mom in rural Texas, which is not exactly a place where people think you're going to end up being the national president of Planned Parenthood, but that's what happened. And I had the opportunity to start in the civil rights movement, to hone my passion for social justice, and then realized, well, then women deserve this too, and decided that that would be the focus of my life. I have 3 kids. I have 6 kids. My late husband and I have a combined family of 6 kids and 15 grandchildren, soon to be 16. And I started Take the Lead after I had discovered how far women were from parity, even though we had been opening doors, we had been changing laws, we had seen a woman first almost everything. And so I had planned on being sort of semi-retired, but I got over that pretty fast and decided, no, there's another big thing for me to do here in this world, and that is to crack the code, which I believe that I did in terms of realizing that it's women's relationship with power, which is very different from men's, that is in our heads and is part of what holds us back. So I am, resilience is life. Resilience is life. So I'm so excited to talk with you, Kim, about all of these things.
You know what? You touch on something because I just watched a presentation and you're absolutely right. It's cracking the code. It's back in our lap. It's back in our lap, right? Everything is there. And I do believe that the younger generation will activate that, right? I think it's those of us who are raised with the old rules of engagement, be polite, don't speak unless spoken to, mind your manners, sit up straight, uh, be
Be nice. Be
be
nice.
nice, be
Nice.
nice, right? If we're assertive, it's actually aggressive. So it is interesting because I do think some of that is starting to slowly, because of women like you, I do believe some of that is slowly starting to dissipate, right? And that's the key there. So let's go into this cracking of the code. This is really important. First of all, I did not see in your write up National President of Planned Parenthood. That is like awesome. That is awesome. Just so you know, I'm a Midwest girl. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. And I had my first baby when I was like just literally I was 19. So I get it. I
Mhm,
get it. I'm like,
mhm.
never thought I'd be here doing this. But so I want you to walk through the research and the code. I want to know more about what you're doing around this.
Right. So I actually, when I started trying to figure out why women were so far from parity, we were, earning 57% of the college degrees and have been for decades now. We're prepared. We have what it takes. We're skilled. The business case is clear that organizations, companies with more women in their upper leadership, they're more profitable. They make more money. They tend to be more philanthropic in their communities as well. Women in legislators pass more legislation, and they particularly pass more legislation that makes life better for their constituents, and that really improves things like education and healthcare and childcare and things like that. So I'm like, well, what's the problem? Well, most of the research said that women had less ambition than men. And I said to myself, that is not right. There's something wrong with that. They're not interpreting this correctly. And so I started doing my own research. I looked at the psychological research. I interviewed over 100 women all over the country in different fields. And what I came to understand is that, the narrative of history, which has largely been written by men, has been about wars and fighting and the assumption of scarce resources. Well, women have borne the brunt of so many negative aspects of that. There's no wonder that they don't like the idea of power. I mean, I would talk to executive women who would say, don't use that word. It's a bad word. And I'm like, what? You can't get anything done if you're unwilling to use your power. And you have a lot of it. So what I found is that once we can understand power, deconstruct it, reconstruct it in a way that is authentic to women and feels comfortable to women, from the oppressive idea of the power over you to the generative and creative idea of power to make life better, power to make money, power to make the world better, your family healthier, have more money, whatever. I would see women just change. Their faces would change. It was like masks fell off of their faces. They were no longer so uptight. And all of a sudden, they would say, I want that kind of power. So once I had figured that out, then I wrote this book, and being very practical, when I wrote No Excuses, 9 Ways Women Can Change How We Think About Power, being very practical, each chapter says, well, this is a part of the problem and this is why you have it. And then here is something you can do about it. So people started asking me to teach workshops using those. What they realized was really a leadership book. Those were leadership tools. And pretty soon I realized that they were right, and that I needed to have an organization to be able to reach more women. So that's how Take the Lead came to be. And you mentioned that our mission is gender parity in leadership across every sector by 2025. That was very bold before the pandemic. And now the pandemic has literally set women back by about a decade. So we got a lot of work to do, but we haven't changed our mission. We still say that this right now, this disruption may be the best thing that ever happened to us, and gives us, I mean, people have to think differently.
Yeah.
People have to use their power to think differently when things are disruptive. So we're still going for it.
So women tend to be more collaborative
Yes.
in the sense that we're gatherers. We think, do you think that works against us when we hold our power? Do you think that we sit here and go, should I be sharing? Should I own this 100%, or should I share the accomplishment and everybody gets recognition? Oh, it's not me, it's we. And so do you think that kind of that works against us?
Oh gosh, that's a really great That's a really great perception and question. It certainly can. It certainly can. I mean, I have seen many rooms of women where no one wants to rise to be the leader. And you really have to have some leadership. You have to have some vision. You have to have some leadership in order to get things done. And so I can definitely see how how it can be a detriment. But what we find in all of the business literature is that it's actually one of the attributes that is helping women be so successful in the organizational and business world, because part of that is that we have, almost as a defense mechanism, women and any underrepresented group, any marginalized group, people of color, for example, have to learn to read the room. You have to have a level of perceptual intelligence, I guess it is. You have to have a sense of where people are coming from emotionally, as well as what they're saying. And so that combined with empathy and collaboration, actually, those things have become women's superpowers in the world today. So while definitely this sort of, uh, I guess, the reluctance to self advocate doesn't help women at all. The reluctance to take leadership doesn't help women at all. But some of those other attributes are really our greatest strengths.
Collaboration, I can say, in all honesty, that if not for collaboration, I would not be where I'm at. I
Right.
have been so blessed to have incredible women in my space. I wanna tackle something around that is uniquely American. And United States has some of the greater disparities in all of the developed countries, right? So we see, you know, top female leadership in, Germany and Australia and uh, we have top female leadership in Canada. We have not had a top female leader as of yet, but working on it. Um, let's talk about the biological clock. Does this disrupt women's movement forward in leadership and power? And is that being perceived wrongly as not having the drive to get there?
Well, that's why one of the chapters in one of the leadership intentioning tools in my book, Intentioning, is strike your own damn balance.
Yeah.
And don't listen to the man behind the curtain telling you that you're not supposed to be happy or that you can't have it all. You can have what you want. You can have what you want. And everybody has to make choices every single day, male
Mhm.
and female, about how they're going to spend their time, how they're going to spend their money. And so I really think there is a cultural narrative that aims to keep women in their place by telling us that that biological clock is problematic. Now, here's what we need to learn from it, and that is that our system needs to be more flexible in terms of allowing people not only family friendly policies, but also that there shouldn't have to be a straight line in the career trajectory. Everybody, male and female,
Yeah.
should be able to step out and step back in when they need to, for caregiving, for getting more education, for just rejuvenating yourself sometimes. Maybe you want to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro and you need to take the 6 months off to prepare for that. But whatever it is, our system in the US is so linear,
Yeah.
and we have inadequate supports for families. Inadequate. We are the only Western developed country with this level of well, basically, we're a rich country. Let's face it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can pay for wars. We can pay for a lot of things, but somehow we can't seem to pay for our children to have good childcare.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that.
Well, and even taking it further back, one of the things that was implemented after I had my second child here in Canada. So, had my first child in the United States, and had to put him in daycare in a crib at 8 weeks of age. That's just how it was, right? My second child I had here in Canada, and I had paid maternity leave for 12 months.
There you
And
go.
I will tell you, as a mother of a 33-year-old and a 25-year-old, the attachment between the two boys is incredibly different.
Mm.
It is, and these are two redheaded, 6'4", blonde or redheaded, blue-eyed, freckled face. Like they walk in a room, everybody knows they're brothers, and yet their fundamental that first year
Mhm.
is so different. Um, and that aligns with what you're talking about, is how the system is not set up for women to be able to make those choices. The choice in many ways is taken away. Either you continue, they have these studies on women in law that go into law firms, and they are like rockets when they hit in there. Like they are climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. And then there is a plateau at around
Mhm.
32, which also coincides with a lot of them as to when they want to have children. So
Mhm.
why should the next generation, and we're on a decrease of population, whether or not anybody knows this. I mean, by 2050, China is in huge trouble. They have basically killed off their population with the one child mandate, and by 2050 they are estimating their population will be 50% what it is today.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if your population is decreasing, your economy is dying, your opportunities are dying. So, really, what women bring to the table is critical for the
Well, it is.
continued growth of the United States.
Yeah, it is critical. And also, to add to what you're saying, I think that younger men also want to be part of their children's uh, lives and development
Yeah.
in a way like my daddy would coochie coo the babies, but he never changed a diaper. And but younger men today really want to be partners in child raising, and so
Yeah.
they would be very happy, but they're afraid to speak up. They're often afraid to take paternity leave because
Yep.
they're afraid that they will be looked down on. And we know that there is a daddy benefit and a mommy penalty. It's implicit bias that is baked into our system. Men are given raises and opportunities when they are fathers because it is assumed that therefore they will be better workers.
Yep.
Women, as soon as they hit that childbearing age area that you mentioned, it is assumed that they will not be paying attention to their jobs. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, I know I've had women who worked with me who they became like 10 times more efficient and effective once they became mothers, because what do you learn? You learn how to balance like 9 million things at the same time. You learn crisis management. You learn how to
Yep.
negotiate. I mean, nothing teaches you
Yep.
more. So but there are these implicit biases that are baked into the system that we need to get rid of.
So walk me through the program. So let's say so we have this resignation generation going on. We have this plethora of women over 40 who during the pandemic learned to love working with Uggs instead of heels. They are sitting there going, wait a minute, I am proficient at this and I have a passion in this. Why is there not an opportunity for me to build something? So with those women, a lot of them are coming out of corporate America, and they do need this even more so
Mhm.
because it's hard to get money. There, nobody's going to give you money to found. I mean, seriously, you got a 5% chance you're going to get traditional bank funding as a female startup. That is a fact, folks. That is not me making this up. That is the United States government 2021 census on where the banks are putting the money. So, sorry, ladies, it's the truth. So that means you're going to work harder. You're going to have to bootstrap this baby. So you better get smarter. So walk me through your program and how you help women find their power. How you help
Absolutely.
them take the lead. Is that totally cool? I'm going to literally turn the
Yes.
stage over to you, and you're going to go full screen. So you're not going to see me. I want this because this is going to be the information that I believe will change somebody's life.
it will that, and in fact, our programs have been called life changing. When we ask for evaluations after women have been through them, that is the phrase that is most often used, is that this was life changing, and it in a very good way. And the reason is that because it really deals with mindset. This is not your typical leadership program, because I know that you can learn basic skills anywhere. You can learn budgeting. You can learn how to deal with employees. You can learn the rules of the road. You can learn that in a lot of different places. The world did not need us to do that. What the world needed Take the Lead to do was to help women embrace the power. First, recognize the power they have, know the value they bring to the table, and once they can do that, they can feel it with authenticity, with confidence, and I believe with joy. I think joy has to be a part of this equation. You shouldn't do stuff if you don't really love it and if it doesn't make you happy. So we start with this mindset shift about power, and that enables us to be freed to have higher levels of intentionality. Hence the book Intentioning. I turned the word intention into an active verb, because because power unused is power useless. That is one of our core principles, is to understand. I can tell you how great you are. I can tell you you have all this power. You have more education. You have the business case. You have the power of the purse. You have all of this. Doesn't matter if you don't use it. So power unused is power useless. We help women identify the power they have, identify the skills and the value that they bring to the table, and how to articulate that. And then we provide leadership tools. Leadership intentioning tools will be the core of this new intentioning mastermind. I'm so excited about this. It's going to be a 13 week, 13 segments. What's the word for it? 13 modules, I guess. 13 weeks, 1 hour a week mastermind with some small group coaching mixed in, and a whole lot of great exercises to help women identify what their strengths are, what their power is, and clarify what their highest intention is, because you need to know what your highest intention is. And then we can help you have the skills and tools to actually get there. And nobody leaves our courses and masterminds and workshops without doing a strategic plan for themselves. So, because otherwise you just learn this stuff and then you can forget about it. You can get inspired and then you can go on and forget about that too. So what you need to do is you need to take that learning, you need to take that inspiration, and then you need to write down a very specific strategic leadership action plan, or strategic in the course of the intentioning mastermind. We'll do a strategic intentioning plan, and share that with other people. Declare what your intention is. Once you've declared it, you're much more likely to actually get there. And I'll tell you, Gloria's theory of planning has always been, you generally don't get 100% of what you plan to do, but by simply putting it out there and seeing a vision and deciding you're going to do it, you are going to get further than if you hadn't done that. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. I will just add one thing to it, which is a really important sort of triangle of the elements, the key elements of intentioning: vision, courage, and action. Because first you have to have the vision to see what you want the world to be, or what you want your life to be. You have to have the courage to believe you can do it. And then you have to take the action, because without action, I always quote Will Rogers, who said, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. So it all has to come down to taking action. And we're very action oriented. So that in a nutshell is it. We also have coaching. We have role model programs. We do one big conference every year where people can come together, and we produce a ton of thought leadership content. So that's it.
No, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a
That's a
lot.
lot. I have found I've had over 200 very in-depth conversations in the last 18 months with women in leadership. And then beyond that, I've had hundreds and hundreds of conversations with the people who are commenting or leaning in through our resilient community. And one of the things that I find very curious is the lack of confidence to invest in oneself.
Mhm.
So, what I'd like you to do at this point in time, Gloria, is I would like you to share with me an actionable step, strategy, or mindset that a woman could implement today if she is going, and and ladies, this is yes, Gloria's program, but any program that comes your way, right? That you are given an opportunity, right? Luck is not luck. Luck is by the time you're born, your luck is done. Everything else is where you have opportunity meets action, and you have to make that choice, right? You're given that challenge or that choice. You do that, and then you receive the consequence. So, good or bad. What is s- a mindset, something. How can we shift these women's thought so they go, yes, they say yes to themselves so that they can serve further and who they truly are?
I will start with reiterating that mind shift from power over to power to, and just say that is the underlying core of all of it. But then the next step, and when I ask people which of the 9 leadership power tools they have used the most of them will say it's the one that's power tool 3, use what you've got. Because very often we don't realize the resources we have available to us. We're always looking, other people have this, more education, more money, more contacts, whatever. Well, what do you have? So this is a little simple pencil and paper exercise that anybody can do, which
Excellent.
is to just put, like 1, 2, 3 on a piece of paper and ask yourself, what are the points of power that I bring that are particularly unique to me or that are particularly marketable or useful for me that other people may want to tap into? Is it knowledge that I have? Is it people that I know? Is it skills that I have practiced? Is it a reputation that I have built? Is it experience of different jobs that I've had? What is it? Once you write those 3 things down, you'll go, oh, well, gosh, the resources that I need are actually right there if I am wise enough to see them and have the courage to actually use them. So that's just
Courage.
a simple exercise, but I would encourage everybody to do it, and to do it not just once, but maybe once a year.
Or you know what? And if you're building, and it's hard, ladies, I want to tell everybody, it's hard to build something like this. It's not easy. It's not an Instagram reel where one day we're, 300 pounds and the next day we're 130 and have a six pack. It is a process, but it is totally doable. It is totally doable. It
It is.
is, if you want it, you can do it. Power unused is power useless. It reminds me of a quote: "The no matter how much knowledge you gain, it is useless if you do not share and implement that knowledge."
Yes. Yes.
And that is where we always get, don't be a braggart, right? Men can boast, but women are
Mhm.
braggarts, right?
Right.
And you know what? We're not, ladies. Put it all out there.
Right.
I have so much. We have done so much. Like I said, I didn't realize, when just doing my general kind of peruse, national president of Planned Parenthood, that is like crazy cool. That's a huge role. And yet, all of these, when we're not, like, everything's just handed to you. So it's almost like we need a placard to walk around and say,
It's true,
"This is
it's
me."
true, and I will say for my own self, it's this is both amusing and not amusing. It's kinda sad in a way, but it did kinda make me laugh that I happened to be having lunch with a former colleague who we had been CEOs of Planned Parenthood affiliates at the same time some years ago, and hadn't seen each other in years, and she just kind of put her fork down and looked at me and she said, you were the person who could actually, you always got the stuff actually done. You didn't talk about it, you just got it done. And I realized that I have been very much guilty of that, of exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I'm committed to the mission. I want to
Yeah.
see it happen. My satisfaction and my joy are in getting it done. But yeah, sometimes I'd kind of like the world to know that. And if I don't tell them, who's going to?
Nobody, that's
Right.
exactly. If you don't share it, nobody else will share it for you, right?
That is so,
Um,
yes.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just as guilty. I'm just as guilty, but I think we're still in a generation of be polite, don't brag, don't
Mhm.
that's not ladylike. And you know what? I'm really tired of this ladylike thing. I like track pants and runners just as much as my sons do. And I think that we can start doing that. Gloria, can you share time in your life that without a moment of true, deep well resiliency, you wouldn't be here having this conversation?
Mm. There are so many. How do I choose? I will, I will start with really, I'm going to tell you two. One of them was really at the very beginning, and at 20, realizing that I had three children, and if I ever had to support them by myself, I had no employable skills. What do I do? And I borrowed $50 from my father to start community college when my third child was 4 months old. And that really was a pivot point in my life. It took me 12 years to finish, but I had kids, I had to go to work, I had to, make some money to help the family. And that's one. That was one. It was just like this smack. Oh my gosh, what what do I do? And I knew that getting an education was the key for me to be able to get a decent job. And so that's what I did. Um, the other really tough one was, yes, I had a wonderful 30-year plus career with Planned Parenthood, starting with a very small affiliate in West Texas, growing that, going to Arizona, growing that into one of the biggest affiliates in the country, and then being the national president for 9 years and literally retooling the whole organization because it was in a very difficult spot when I took over, and I had to do some really big things, which I love doing. But when I left, I also left the structure that had sort of held me together. And I had been so focused on this cause and this mission, I had let it subsume me. I didn't know who I was anymore. I did not know who I was. I was like a bowl of jelly for about 6 months. And a sort of fun project that I did during that time, because it bought me a year, was to write a book with the actress Kathleen Turner. And
Cool.
and it started out to be a biography of her. So it was gonna be my book. Well, publisher, by the time it ended, of course, they wanted her to make it more like a memoir, right? And when we went to our big publicity meeting before the book was launched, I realized that I had become chopped liver to them. I had brought her to the table. She was my friend. I made this all happen. I wrote the whole book. But as far as they were concerned, they literally turned their backs to me and looked only at her in talking about the publicity. And even though, I mean, I threw a big fit. I did throw a big fit. I did not
Good
just sit.
on you.
Yeah, I threw a big fit. Didn't help a whole lot, but I threw a big fit. But that was when I realized, Gloria, this has been your pattern. You speak in other people's voices. You've never spoken in your own voice. You spoke for a cause. You spoke for a person. You have not spoken in your own voice. And I had to bite the bullet at that time. I'm still struggling with that, to be honest with you. But that's what I'm really working. That was the second big pivot point was, it's time for you to speak in your own voice.
Well, and it's and sometimes the things that hurt us the most can be the things that are the catalyst that gives us the fire. Because I mean, hurt or anger, these are just emotions. It's what you do with emotions
Oh, so
that
true.
are the negative, right? So if you turn that hurt and anger into that catalyst or that fuel to create something like Take the Lead, or put your brand out there, put your voice out there and say, hey, wait a minute, you know,
Mhm, mhm.
my story's just as valuable, right? I mean, come on, War of the Roses, it taught us a lot about how not to do divorce, but the reality is that, you know, Kathleen puts her pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else,
That's right.
right?
That's right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so um, at this point in time, I'd love to find out, where is intentioning? What's going on with your next book?
Okay.
When can we get?
So,
When can we get it?
intentioning is out. It is out.
It is out.
It is out. Here it is right here.
Awesome.
You mentioned sex in the title, yes, and I actually had to kind of fight for that. My editor thought I should change it to gender, and I said no, because number one, people do pay attention when it says sex, but
Yeah.
number two, it has everything to do with how women get treated. Everything.
Yeah.
It's how you start getting people start. Yeah, I have a new grandchild coming, and she's a girl, and people are already buying her all this pink stuff and talking about her as a princess, and I'm like, no. um, so it has everything to do with how society then treats you. So that's why I wanted to have it in the title. So intentioning is out, and I have now turned it into this Mastermind 13 segment Mastermind series that will launch March 23rd, 2023. In case somebody's watching this next year, which
Yes, yes.
everything is
Good
on
call,
launch forever
Gloria.
and ever.
Yep, yep,
But
this is forever.
I'll probably be teaching it again. And I wanted to break it down so that we can really have these great conversations. And therefore, I'm not like doing it like a classroom course. I'm really doing it as a very interactive mastermind process. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and you can find it on the Take the Lead website, taketheleadwomen.com. Just go to the website. That's the easiest thing, because there's a banner and you can click on the banner and you can find the mastermind. That's the easiest thing. But we're all over social media at Take Lead Women or at Take the Lead Women, depending upon who gives us enough letters. And then I'm at Gloria Feldt everywhere, so that I can remember what my handle is. And it's so the book is out. The mastermind will be launching soon, and it's going to I think it will be life changing for many women. It will be. It will be for a woman who is trying to clarify what her highest intention is. It will be very helpful. For a woman who knows already what her highest intention is and she wants some practical ways to get there, it will help her. So that's what I'm aiming at, is women who are already on that leadership track.
And ladies, invest in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, you do make more money. And yes, I know we all sit here and go, no, I do this even if I wasn't getting paid. And get rid of that. Get rid of that language. You need to have the currency that reflects your efforts, and you need to step into that. Too many of us are giving away our energy, our time, our intention, our intellect. We give it away, and we need to start seizing that back, because when we start seizing that back, we will change the way the banks view our businesses. We will change the way the money moves. We will change the way society responds. And we will open up doors so that a young couple at 30 years of age, they can split maternity and paternity leave with honor and respect, and they can give that baby the absolute best beginning, and they both will get respect in the workplace. So let's do this, ladies. We can. So invest in yourself. Final words. What is a quote that we've got your quote here. So if that is a quote every day, power unused is power useless. Give me that quote. I'm going to give you the screen. But if there's something else that has helped you accelerate through life, go to the local college, question where you were sitting after leaving a national representation job. So anything you have. We want a quote. I love quotes, but I'm going to give you the screen so we can actually turn this into a great soundbite.
Mm. So the big quote that I will always give is power unused is power useless. But I will add to that the first and most important responsibility of a leader, and I'm quoting Warren Bennis on this, I should give him credit, is the creation of meaning. The first and most important responsibility of a leader is in the creation of meaning for yourself and for the others around you who are working with you and for whoever might be your clients or customers or the people that you're working with. So I'm taking the liberty to have two. I'm breaking the rules.
There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Gloria, I thank you very much for all that you do and for picking up the gauntlet. And thank you for not just hanging on the golf courses and deciding to step back into the leadership space and the creation space, because the more women we have offering that hand up to other women, be it women over 50, be it women, who are straight out of university, whatever. Let's just get the ball rolling, ladies. Let's make this happen. We can make this happen. As a mother of 3, 2 boys and a girl, I want all of my children, all 3 of my children, to have all the opportunities out there. And we can do this. So until next time, folks, Gloria, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Everybody, sit tight, watch this closing, because again, it'll get you super excited. I love it. I love it. I love you all. Thank you for joining us. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Thank you for joining us here today at Kim Talks Resilience. I'm your host, Kim Hayden, and I'd love to invite you to our resilient community at resilientgift.com. That's resilientgift.com, and we'll send you our magazine and tickets for upcoming events and all sorts of cool things we do here. So be sure to keep watching. And you know what? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, because we all know that sharing is caring.